So it all comes down to, for us, a very simple traffic light system. So we list all the players' names, we put all of the variables across the top, and then we make an assessment of whether that's green, so it's fine, orange, we need to have a look at this, it's red, it's a real problem, and then, most importantly, a qualitative assessment of what that all means. So, okay, we think this guy's in real danger of breaking down or performing poorly, consider giving him a rest from a match. This guy's in real trouble, he shouldn't train today, or whatever it might be. And it's ultimately then a matter of sitting down prior to every skill training session that we have, and we go through every single player and decide what activities he'll participate in on that day. So some of the future directions in our program, as I said, we're far from having the perfect system, a long way from the perfect system. Predictive modelling, there's been some great work in rugby league by Tim Gabbett, who's presenting later in the conference, and we're certainly looking at those type of things. We're interested in the relative importance of individual variables and performance and injury links, but ultimately I'm not fussed if we can't come up with one number. I think the systems are so complex and the adaptations are so varied that we almost shouldn't expect that in a complex team sport we can have one number that brings everything together. It would be nice. I know some people have gone down that path. We'll continue to investigate, but I'm comfortable looking at a combination of variables to give us a very thorough picture of the athlete's response. We're always going to continue to search for additional markers which may prove to be useful, and it may result in us removing some other markers from our system. So potentially heart rate variability, some other blood markers, particularly pro-inflammatory cytokines, salivary IgA, they pose great interest to us. We're always interested in the relative contribution of training and match activities to fatigue. We fortunately have the ability to conduct a reasonable amount of in-house research, and this is one of the projects on the drawing board for us at the moment. And then, of course, the interactions between training load, injury and performance. And as I mentioned earlier on, it is all about performance for us and the practical impact that we can have on that process. So just in finishing, I'd like to acknowledge a number of people, both from inside and outside Essendon Football Club, for contributing to the information that's gone into this presentation today. And happy to take any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. Okay, I know we've run over quite a lot, but there's probably just time for one quick question if anyone's got a question to ask Stuart. Go on, Nick.
It's a bit more of a generic question, but we've had three very different presentations there. And if we were to accept Nick's view that all of this physiological, biomechanical monitoring is not leading to change, the subtle mention of psychology over the past couple of days and the fact there are only 10 attendees in Ken Hodges' symposia, how do we address the balance, and is it up to us as a scientific community to change the balance?
Yeah, absolutely. We were fortunate to have a full-time psychologist in our program last year. That position no longer exists, but it's something that we would look to get back into our program very, very quickly. Ultimately, for me, the objective markers just contribute to the overall picture, and ultimately it's about the process of dealing one-on-one with the athlete, and so the psychological component to me is critical. So that's the reason we use a lot of those subjective tools, and we'd love to have someone in our program that could optimise the player's psychological status.
Okay, I'm going to draw it to a close then. I'd like to just thank all the speakers for some excellent presentations this morning. I think it's been a really interesting session which has given us some insights into applying sports science across the codes. What I suggest is that we look to reconvene if you're interested in coming to the open communications at maybe 20 to 12, so we just have a 20-minute break now. So if we could just give a round of applause to all the speakers and thank them very much for their hard work.